Hello children, today's story is Jadav and the Tree Place. Author Vinayak Verma, illustrator Vinayak Verma, publisher Pratham Books. A level 3 story. Now let's get started with the wonderful story. This is Jadav, a tree planter. He loves tree places because they are full of life. No tree places, that means the places that do not have trees, make him terribly sad because they are full of dead things. Years ago, Jadav was walking along the banks of the great Brahmaputra river when he arrived at a big empty no-tree place. It was dry and hot. The sand was powdery and striped. You can look at the picture that shows the sand, which is powdery and dry and striped. Striped sand, how odd! Jadav went closer to take a better look. Oh, but they weren't stripes at all. The ground was covered in snakes. Last night's floods must have washed them ashore, Jadav thought. These snakes weren't sinking and slithering and swaying about like regular healthy snakes. When Jadav walked among them, they didn't hiss or run away or try to bite him. They just lay about like old ropes, tired and still. Poor snakes, they are dying from the heat. If only they had some shade to lie in. If only this no-tree place had some trees in it. Jadav couldn't bear to watch the snakes die. It made him so terribly sad that he sat down and began to cry. But he quickly came to his senses. No more crying, from now on only trying. Well, that must be our spirit also. Rather than crying, we must try out for different ways to figure out the solution of a problem. He jumped up, ran back to his village and began collecting all the bamboo shoots he could carry in his bag. Regular plants won't grow in the hot sand, but bamboo will. Bamboo is strong. What an idea! Jadav brought the shoots to the no-tree place and started planting them everywhere. It was hard, hot work, and it took years. The river grew thin one summer and flooded the next, sometimes bringing more sand and sometimes taking it away. Heavy rains came and went, but Jadav kept on planting. And his spirits were very positive because he did not like the no-tree place, and he did not like the pain of the animals, and he did not like the snakes dying out of dry place. In time, the bamboo took root and began to grow. As it grew, it brought shade, and the shade brought insects. The insects burrowed into the ground, and the earth below the bamboo trees began to change. The dry and white became rich and brown, and the dead sand became living soil. Isn't it amazing? And what an idea Jadav had in his mind. He converted this dry, dead place into a lively place, and even the quality of soil improved. Jadav was no longer sad, but he wasn't happy either. He looked around his bamboo grove and thought, a few trees place is nice, I know, but how wonderful it would be if this were a many trees place. The idea thrilled him. So Jadav went back to his village and began collecting many more seeds and saplings. He filled 3 big bags with Arjun and Ajar and Gulmohar and Karoi and Moj and Himolu. Now that a few trees place has lovely brown soil, we can plant all these and more. Jadav brought his new saplings and seeds to the few trees place and planted them all around. It was hard work. His back hurt and it took many years. The orange and blue skies turned purple and pink, and villages became towns. The wind grew laden with dust, and the river became grey. But Jadav's insect friends helped to till the soil, and his tall bamboos gave him shade and cooled the air. And Jadav kept on planting. And this is the positive spirit of Jadav. The thoughts that he had in mind, he converted them into reality, and nature supported Jadav. Soon his Arjun, Ijar and Gulmohar, his Karoi, Moj and Himolu, and all his many other plants dug in, took root and started growing. As they grew, they spread new seeds, and the new seeds in turn took root. Shoots became trunks. Trunks grew branches, and the branches reached for the sky. And that's really great to know. Patience had its fruits. The few trees place that was once a no tree place now became a wonderful green many trees place. What a transition! But what's a many trees place without many trees creature? When one came, the others followed. And children, can you tell me the name of the tree creature that comes first in your mind? Yes, birds. Birds come first in my mind, and I think yours too. So let's see who are the creatures that came in first. First came the birds. They flocked and flew in from near and far to make their nests in Jadav's tree place. There were vultures and pelicans, and storks and ducks, and warblers and thrushes, and wagtails and chats. So many birds followed one after the other, and the place became so lively with the tree creatures. And what do you think? Did the animals follow too? Let's figure out. Next came the animals. Yes, the animals followed too. They skipped and swung and sauntered in to make their homes in the many trees place, because animals love to live in the jungle, and this became a habitat for them. There were buffaloes and deer and rabbits and gibbons and elephants and tigers and rhinos. Finally, there came the snakes. They slithered and swayed and sashayed in to cool themselves in the shade of Jadav's tree. When Jadav saw the snakes, he sat down and cried happy tears, because he was so happy to see the snakes that had a cool place finally. He was so happy that he wasn't even afraid of getting bitten. Yes, Jadav's tree place had filled with feathers and beaks and wings, with claws and tails and fangs. There were spots and splashes, stripes and flashes, and green everywhere. The tree place was a forest at last, and Jadav was a happy man. And that is very amazing. His hard work had turned the place into a forest. Then Jadav had another thought. Many trees in one place is good, I know, but how wonderful it would be if there were many trees in every place. And this idea is good for even us all. Isn't it an amazing idea, children? So he grabbed his bags of seeds and started walking across the world. And as he walked, Jadav started planting the trees in all the no tree places he saw. And he planted and planted and planted. But there are so many no tree places in the world. There are more no tree places than tree places now. This is terribly sad. But Jadav does not sit down and cry this time. Again, he gathers his energy and starts planting more and more and more trees. Jadav plants and plants and plants some more. It's going to be hard work bringing all the old forests back. The seas have begun rising and the winds grow cold. Towns have become cities and Jadav is growing old, but he keeps on planting and planting and planting. Jadav will keep on planting until the whole world is a happy, lovely, lots of trees place. And that is the end of the story. But children, is it a real story? Yes, Jadav in real life. Let's read about this man. Jadav Mulai Payeng is a conservationist and recipient of the Padma Shri, one of the highest civilian honors awarded by the Indian government. Jadav lives in Majuli, Assam. At the age of 16, distressed by the sight of dying snakes that had washed up on a sandbar banking the Brahmaputra, Jadav decided to plant some trees in the spot. He started small with bamboos and grew an entire forest, plant by painstaking plant. This was back in 1979. Over the next 3 decades, Jadav and his tree planting have managed to change the soil in the barren area. The 550-hectare sandbar is now a lush, dense forest and home to a variety of flora and fauna, including elephants, tigers, apes, deer, and many species of local and migratory birds. Jadav continues to visit and nurture his forest every day, planting wherever he finds empty patches. Now here is a task for you. Let's learn this task. Growing up with a mango tree, a tree planting activity. So children, are you in for this wonderful activity? So let's understand how to work on it. Just ate a mango, loved it, want another? You can go to a shop and buy one, of course. But it's a lot more fun and free to use the seed of the mango you just ate and make a few fruits of your own. All you need is time and patience. First, find a nice patch of empty land near your house. Get a friend, sibling or grown-up to help you plant the seed you saved in that patch. Make sure the soil is loose and there is plenty of sun. It may take several weeks of waiting, watering and watching before your seed turns into a plant. So don't worry and definitely don't hurry. So how to go about it? Let's see. Once your seed germinates and grows into a healthy mango plant, get ready for a lot more waiting, watering and watching. Take care that your plant doesn't get eaten up by insects or animals or get stepped on by someone. If all this waiting is making you feel bored, read a few books, sing some songs and plant some more plants. After a few years, as you grow taller, your mango plant will grow tall with you until it becomes a big tree that you can climb and picnic under. This is when the real fun begins. By now, your tree will have started making its own mangoes, which you and your friends can eat. Even better, those mangoes will soon start attracting other mango-loving creatures to your tree. Birds, ants, squirrels, bats, monkeys, spiders, and lots more. Some of these creatures will come to eat the fruit. Some will come to feed on the tree's sap. Some to drink nectar from its flowers. And some creatures will even come to eat some of the other creatures hanging around the tree. But it's not all about eating. Some creatures may come just to rest in your tree's shade or to take a nap in its branches. Your tree has many different uses for every different creature. Spend some time every day watching who visits your mango tree, at which time of the day they come, and what they do. Write down what you see in your notebook. Also draw pictures of what you see. See how much you have done and learned with just one mango seed. Isn't tree planting fun? Now imagine how much fun Jadav must have had planting his entire forest full of trees. Wonderful, wonderful activity, and I hope you will follow this activity and will try it out. Happy learning. Thank you.